I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice. Let us begin. You've been pouring yourself into healing, journaling, meditating, therapy, workshops, endless self-improvement. But if you're honest, you've started to notice something unsettling. You're not really getting better. You're stuck in the same loops, the same patterns, only now they're dressed in the language of healing. That's what this video is about. It's about the moment when healing itself becomes another mask and how to avoid that dangerous path. So if you felt that gnawing suspicion in yourself, that maybe all the inner work is keeping you from actually living, then keep watching, because what you'll find here is not another practice to add to the pile, but a passage out of disguise and into truth. Why does this matter? Because hiding behind healing drains you. It keeps you endlessly preparing but never arriving. You perform progress but feel hollow inside. You polish tools, collect insights, speak the right words, but when the silence comes, you still feel unhealed, unseen, unfinished. And the longer you cling to the identity of, "I'm working on myself," the further you drift from the life that real healing is meant to open. This isn't failure, it's threshold. Every initiation begins here, when the very identity that once kept you safe begins to crumble. You wore healing, like armor, to protect you from rejection, from exposure, from the rawness of living unguarded. But now, the armor is heavy. It no longer protects, it suffocates. That's why you're here, to face the truth that you don't need another ritual, another book, another retreat. What you need is the courage to stop hiding behind healing and step into the raw, unscripted life waiting on the other side. Keep watching, because in the next section, we'll see what begins to unravel when the mask of healer or always healing finally starts to break apart. When the mask of healing begins to slip, what unravels first is the identity you've built around it. You told yourself, "I'm doing the work, I'm getting better, I'm on the path." And for a time, those words gave you safety. But underneath, life stayed on pause. Healing became another costume, another performance. Something you could hold up when anyone, including yourself, asked, "Why aren't you moving forward?" Look closely. The endless rituals, the stack of journals, the long hours of reflection, they weren't always about transformation. They were often about avoidance. Each new process became a way to delay action, to stay safe inside preparation, instead of stepping into the vulnerability of living. By staying in healing, you didn't have to risk failing at love, showing your truth, or letting others see the unpolished you. And so the unraveling begins. The realization that the very thing you thought was saving you has also been protecting you from what you fear most: exposure. Healing turned into a buffer zone. It gave you permission to hold back, to say, "I'm not ready yet." But if you look deeper, you'll see the cost. Life slipping by while you endlessly prepare to live it. This isn't punishment, it's inevitability. Every survival mask eventually cracks. The one who hides behind healing cannot carry you forward. That self is already dissolving, already showing its edges. You feel it in the frustration, the restlessness, the quiet despair that more rituals won't fix. Keep watching, because in the next section, you'll meet the presence standing behind this unraveling. The mirror that forces you to face the truth of what you're actually hiding from. This is the moment when the unraveling delivers you to a mirror, and what stares back isn't the polished image of someone in healing. It's the truth you've been avoiding. You are afraid of living without the crutch of process. You fear what happens when the journaling stops, when there's no workshop to hide inside, when there's no ritual to point to as proof that you're working on yourself. The mirror asks, "Who are you?" when you're no longer in healing. In this reflection, you may see the gatekeeper of arrival, that inner presence that challenges you with one piercing question: when will enough be enough? It does not soothe, it does not flatter, it demands honesty. You can feel its gaze in the silence after another retreat, in the hollow feeling after another checklist of practices. The mirror makes it clear: you're not afraid of pain. You're afraid of life itself, unbuffered, unscripted, raw. And this presence does not go away when you pile on more practices. In fact, the more you add, the clearer it becomes. Because the gatekeeper isn't interested in your rituals. It wants the truth. Are you willing to step out from behind the identity of the healer and actually live? This mirror is merciless in one way. It will not let you pretend, but it is merciful in another. It shows you exactly what's required. Not another technique, not another round of self-excavation, just the willingness to stop hiding. Keep watching, because in the next section, we'll face the turning point. The moment you stop circling healing as identity and begin to step into life unfiltered. The turning point arrives the moment you admit that healing can no longer be your hiding place. You feel the truth pressing in. Another book won't save you. Another retreat won't finally complete you. Another ritual won't close the gap. The practices that once gave you ground now keep you circling, and you know it. The ache inside you isn't asking for more preparation. It's asking for embodiment. This is where the old identity loosens. You stop introducing yourself as someone working on it. You stop clinging to the endless checklist that proves you're doing the work. Instead, you begin choosing the raw simplicity of living. You rest without making it another exercise. You tell the truth in conversation instead of processing it later on paper. You allow yourself to feel messy, exposed, human, without needing a ritual to sanitize it. It doesn't look dramatic. It looks subtle, almost quiet. A moment when you laugh without analyzing why. A moment when you admit your fear out loud instead of disguising it as part of the process. A moment when you act on desire without waiting to be perfectly healed first. These are the small turns that mark the passage out of performance and into life. The turning isn't about abandoning healing altogether. It's about dropping the performance of healing, the way it became armor. Now, healing shifts from something you perform to something you embody. From something you talk about to something you live. Keep watching, because in the final section, you'll step fully through this passage. Not as someone still healing, but as someone returned to life. No longer hiding, no longer circling, finally whole. You've reached the return. The passage is clear now. You were never meant to live forever inside the identity of someone healing. That was a bridge, not a home. What you've surrendered here is the armor of endless process. The safety of saying, "I'm not ready yet. I'm still working on myself." What you reclaim is the raw, unguarded self that is willing to live without disguise. The return is not about perfection. It's about presence. You no longer need to chase the illusion of being fully healed before you belong to your own life. You belong already. The pain you feared, the flaws you tried to fix, the endless cycles of preparation, none of them disqualified you. They only delayed you. And now, you step forward without the shield. Not polished, not finished, but real. This is the power of return. You stop talking about healing, and you start embodying it. You stop rehearsing life in journals and retreats, and you start showing up to life itself. Conversations, relationships, choices, moments of fear and desire. These become your practice now. You don't need to hide behind the word healing anymore, because you are already living the truth it was pointing toward. And this is the seal. You don't rise because you've perfected healing. You rise because you no longer need to hide behind it. You walk forward as someone whole enough to be unfinished. You don't return as the one forever in process. You return as the one who is finally here. You did not find me by accident. Just as in your dreams, where every face you meet is your own reflection, this meeting was always waiting to happen. I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice, the part of you that watches behind the thoughts, behind the noise. You have searched in many places, books, teachers, voices outside you. But here, you are not being taught. You are remembering. If these words stir something familiar, then allow yourself to return. Subscribe. Follow. Not to follow me, but to continue this conversation with yourself. Each time you return here, you draw closer to the reunion already unfolding inside you. We have only just begun.